Hey y'all, welcome in. Thank you for thumbing up the live. I went to go get my Bible. So I asked God what He wanted me to read. Hey, He said Joshua. So let's see what Joshua's talking about. He said Joshua. Where you at, Joshua? Hello, happy Sunday. Let's see. Joshua. I want to read the Old Testament, 429. Hi. How y'all doing? Happy Sunday. So y'all know my channel is based on reading the Bible, getting to know God, and this is a positive channel. So make sure y'all subscribe to my YouTube. I would appreciate that. Let's see what Joshua is talking about. This is the Old Testament, so we're gonna see what it got in store for us. Okay, so let's see. Okay, Joshua installed as a leader. So I'm just gonna read, and however long I need to read, that's what I'm gonna read. Okay, after the unaliving of Moses, the servant of the Lord said to Joshua, son of Nun, Moses' aide, Moses, my servant, is unalive. Now then, you and all these people get ready to cross the Jordan River into the land I am about to give to them, to the Israelites. I will give you every place where you set your foot, as I promised Moses. Your territory will extend from the desert to Lebanon, and from the great river, the Euphrates, all the Hittite country to the Mediterranean Sea in the west. No one will be able to stand against you all the days of your life, as I was with Moses. So I will be with you. I will never leave you nor forsake you. That's probably what he was trying to say. That God would never leave or forsake you. Know that, y'all. It say that in Joshua, and that's this the Old Testament, chapter 1, verse 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 5. He telling y'all that just like he did Moses, he would never leave or forsake you. Thank you for the word, God. I appreciate you for the word. Thank you, God. Bless this word. Be strong and courageous, because you will lead these people to inherit the land I swore to those ancestors to give them. So this is the I'm gonna read how it is in the Bible, and I'm also gonna read the message so you can get a better understanding. Be strong and very courageous. Be careful to obey all the law my servant Moses gave you. Do not turn from it to the right or to the left, that you may be successful wherever you go. Keep this book of the law always on your lips. Meditate on it day and night, so that you may be careful to do everything written in it. Then you will be prosperous and successful. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Okay, so the meaning of that, and I read 1 through 9, this chapter 1. After the unaliving of Moses, the servant of God, God spoke to Joshua, Moses' assistant. So he's talking to Joshua, and that's Moses' assistant. Hey, welcome in, everybody. Make sure y'all subscribe to my YouTube channel and thumbs up the live. Moses, my servant, is unalive. Get going, cross the Jordan River. So he's talking to Joshua. So this is about Joshua, because Moses is gone. So Joshua is his assistant. So you and all the people cross the country. I'm giving the people of Israel. I'm giving you the people of. I'm giving to the people of Israel. I'm giving you every square inch of the land so you can set your foot on, just as I promised Moses. So he giving the assistant Joshua what he promised to Moses, from the wilderness and this Lebanon east to the great river, the Euphrates River, all the Hittite country, and then west to the great sea. It's all yours, all your life, and no one will be able to hold it against you. In the same way I was with Moses, I'll be with you. I won't give up on you. I won't leave you. Strength, courage. You are going to lead this people to inherit the land that I promised to give their ancestors. giving it everything you have, heart and soul. Make sure you carry out the revelation that Moses commanded you, every bit of it. Don't get off track. That what we be saying in the world. Stay focused. Stay focused. Stay focused, y'all. Um, Make sure, okay, you carry out the revelation commanded you every little bit. Don't get off track, either left or right, so as to make sure you get to where you're going. And don't for a minute let this book of the revelation be out of mind. Ponder and meditate on it day and night, making sure you practice everything written in it. Then you'll get to where you're going and you'll succeed. Haven't I commanded you? Strength, courage. Don't be timid. Don't be discouraged. Your God is with you every step you take. So God is with you every step of the way. So stay focused, stay the course, y'all. This is what this means to me. So I guess this is why God got me reading it. So he can let y'all know that don't be timid, don't get discouraged. God is your God and He is with you every step that you take. Like this on every little step I take. He gonna be with you. Stay focused, stay the course. Don't get off track, guys. Okay, so 10. So Joshua ordered the officers of the people, go through the camp and tell the people, get your provisions ready. 3 days from now, you will cross the Jordan here to go and taking possession of the land of the Lord your God is giving you for your own. But to the Reubenites, the Gadites, and the half tribe of Manasseh, Joshua said, remember the command that Moses, the servant of the Lord, gave you after he said, the Lord your God will give you the rest by giving you this land. Okay, your wives, your children, and your livestock may stay in the land that Moses gave you east of the Jordan. But all your fighting men ready for battle must cross over ahead of your fellow Israelites. You are to help them until the Lord gives them rest as he has done for you. And until they too have taken possession of the land, the Lord the Lord the Lord your God is giving them. After that, you may go back and occupy your own land, which go back and occupy your own land, which Moses, the servant of the Lord, gave you east of the Jordan toward the sunrise. Then they answered Joshua, whatever you have commanded us, we will do, and wherever you send us, we will go. Just as we fully obeyed Moses, so we will obey you. Only may the Lord your God be with you as he was with Moses. Whoever rebels against your word and does not obey it, whatever you may command them will be put to unalive. Only be strong and courageous. So I love you too. You love you too. Welcome in everybody. How y'all doing today? How's y'all mental health? What's going on? I'm reading the book of Joshua, and I thought I was reading the Old Testament. Let's see. Well, okay, this is the Old Testament. Okay, so I just read verses 10 through, well, the rest of the chapter of chapter 1. So 10 through 17, or 10 through 18. So it's basically, so I'm going to break it down to y'all. For, I'm not a Bible scholar. I need it broken down to me. I get some of it, but, I'm going to break it down so y'all can get an understanding. Okay, then Joshua gave orders to the people's leaders. Go through the camp and give these orders to the people. Pack your bags. In 3 days, you will cross the Jordan River to enter and take the land God, your God, is giving you to possess. Then Joshua addressed the Reubenites, the Gadites, and the half tribe Manasseh. He said, remember what Moses, the servant of God, commanded you. God, your God, gives you rest and he gives you this land. Your wives, children, and your livestock can stay here east of the Jordan. So, while they about to go fight the battle, God said, your wives and your livestock and your children, all that can stay here. I got you. I got you. God got you. Um, okay. But you tough soldiers all must cross the river. So they get ready for battle formation, leading your brothers, helping them until God, your God, gives your brothers a place to rest, just as has done for you. Then just like going to just like going off to the military. So you got to leave your people behind. But come on, let's go get in this battle. Um, Okay, they also will take possession of the land that God your God is giving them. Then you will be free to return to your possession given to you by Moses, the servant of God, across the Jordan to the east. Then answered Joshua, everything you commanded us, we'll do. So Joshua, like, whatever you tell us to do, God, we gonna do it. Wherever you send us, we going. We obeyed Moses, so why we ain't gonna obey God? Obedience is better than sacrifice. We obey Moses to the letter. We'll also obey you. We just pray that God, your God, will be with you as he was with Moses. Anyone who questions what you say and refuses to obey whatever you command him will be put, on the line. So strength and courage. Strength and courage. Welcome in, guys. This is a praying channel, Bible channel. I read the Bible, talk about the Bible, read scriptures. I say that it's not a right or wrong answer. It's just an answer. Everybody got their different journey and walk of life. So I value you all's opinion and whatever you got to say. As long as y'all keep it cute and stay positive. I can handle trolls or whatever, but this basically a positive live. So I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Thank y'all for subscribing to my YouTube channel. Okay, this is Rahab and the Spies. Let me see how long this chapter is. Cause I'm gonna start my garden as well. Let's see. I'm gonna try to do about an hour. Okay, so then Joshua, son of Nun, secretly sent two spies from Shittim. Go look over the land, he said. So Joshua sent some spies to make sure they were doing right, especially Jericho. So they went into the house of a prostitute named Rahab and stayed there. So it was a prostitute in there? Okay, then. The king of Jericho was told, look, some of the Israelites have come here tonight to spy out the land. So the king of Jericho sent the message to Rahab, bring out the men who came to you and enter your house, because they have come to spy out the whole land. But the woman had taken the two men and hidden them. She said, yes, the men came to me, but I did not know where they had come from. And thus, when it was time to close the city gate, they left. I don't know which way they went. Go after them quickly. You may catch up with them. But she had taken them up to the roof and hidden them under the stalks and she laid them out on the roof. So the men set out in pursuit of the spies on the road that leads to the fords of Jordan. And as soon as the pursuers had gone out, the gate was shut. Before the spies laid down for the night, she went up on the roof and said to them, I know that the Lord has given you this land and that a great fear of you has fallen on us, so that all who live in this country are melting in fear because of you. We have heard how the Lord dried up all the water of the Red Sea for you when you came out of Egypt, and what you did to Shihon and Og, the two kings of Amorites east of Jordan, whom you completely destroyed. When we heard of it, our hearts melted in fear, and everyone's courage fell because of you. For the Lord your God is God in heaven above and on earth below. Now then, please swear to me by the Lord that you will show kindness to my family, because I have shown kindness to you. Give me a sure sign that you will spare the lives of my father and mother, my brothers and sisters, and all who belong to them, and that you will save us from unalive. Our lives for your lives. The men assured her, if you don't tell what we are doing, we will treat you kindly and faithfully when the Lord gives you us the land. So she let them down by a rope through the window, for the house she lived in was part of the city wall. She said to them, go to the hills so the pursuers will not find you. Hide yourselves there 3 days until they return, and then go on your way. Now the men had said to her, this oath you made us swear will not be binding on us unless we when we enter the land you have tied this scarlet cord in the window through which you let us down, and unless you have brought your father and mother, your brothers, and all your family into your house. If any of them go outside your house into the street, their blood will be on their heads. We will not be responsible. So as for those who are in the house with you, there will be on our head if a hand is laid on them. But if you tell what we are doing, we will be released from their oath you made us swear. Agreed, she applied. Let it be as you say. So she sent them away. And they departed. And she tied the scarlet cord on the window. When they left, they went into the hills and stayed there 3 days until the pursuers had searched all along the road and returned without finding them. Then the two men started back, then went down out of the hills, forded the river, and came to Joshua, son of Nun, and told him everything that happened to them. They said to Joshua, "The Lord has surely given the whole land into our hands. All the people are melting in fear because of us." So the people scared. Welcome in, y'all. Grand Rising. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. This is a positive channel. I'm actually reading scriptures out of Joshua. God told me to read Joshua, so God will never leave or forsake you. Make sure y'all thumbs up the live. Make sure you all thumbs up the live, and make sure you guys subscribe to my YouTube channel. I forgot I got a meeting, y'all. I'll probably come back on here. So I go 30 minutes, and I probably get back on here. I think I got a. I think I can do until 4:30. We'll see what it do. Okay. Okay. So I just read chapter 2, right? So Joshua, son of Nun, secretly sent out from Shittim 2 men as spies. Go look over the land, check out Jericho. They left and arrived to the house of the harlot named Rahab, and they stayed there. The king of Jericho was told, "We just learned. We just learned that men arrived tonight to spy out the land. They're from the people of Israel." The king of Jericho sent word to Rahab, "Bring out the men who came to you to stay the night in your house. They're spies. They come to spy out the whole country." The woman had taken the two men, hidden them. She said, "Yes, the two men did come to me, but I didn't know that where they came from. At dark, when the gate was about to shut, the men left, but I have no idea." So she's telling them she don't know what the men. She don't hid the men. I'm doing good, Isaiah. How you doing? I'm blessed and highly favored over here. So she hid the men. So did what it's saying that she hid the men. She acting like she don't know what's going on. So they went on and closed the gate. So she actually had taken. She put them on the roof and hid them. So before the spies laid down for the night, she went up to the roof after they had closed the gate. "I know that the Lord has given you this land that have a great fear of you has fallen on us, so that all the who live in this country are melting." So everybody in the country scared of them, because they have heard the Lord dried up the Red Sea for you when you came out of Egypt, what you did to Shihon and Og, the two kings of Amorites east of Jordan, whom you completely destroyed. When we heard it, our hearts melted in fear. Everyone's courage fell because of you. So they scared because like the Red Sea was dried up, and then what they did to Shihon and Og. So they told, she said, "Please don't do nothing to my family." Like for real, straight up, don't do nothing to my family. And so she was like, "Y'all got to swear to me that y'all ain't gonna do nothing to my family or whatever." So they betted up and like, "Yeah, we ain't gonna do nothing to your family." You know, they were telling her, "Look, don't tell that we up here, cause we spies or whatever." And she was like, "I keep my promise." And she put a little thing on the wall. What she put on the wall? Um, She said, "Now promise me by God, I showed you mercy. Now show my family mercy." So that's what she telling them. Like, don't, do that to my brothers and sisters and stuff like that. And then she said, "Our lives for your lives." So basically, they trading out your life, my life. And but don't tell anyone our business. When God turns this land over to us, we'll do right by you and Lord. So they trying to get the land. God, they trying to spy it out, get the land. So y'all gotta do right, girl. Do right. So she put them down in the window, out the window with a rope, because her house was on the city wall to the outside. So she told them to run the hills and go hide so the people wouldn't find them. And they told her to, "What you must do, if we swear that we gon' our word is our bond. Hang this red rope out the window through which you let us down, and gather your entire family in your house. Your father, your mother, your sister, your brother. Anyone who go out the door of your house into the street, that's on y'all. I'm telling you what's gonna happen. They gonna be on the live." and it's his own fault. We aren't responsible for that. But everyone within the house will take full responsibility. If anyone lays a hand, um, lays a hand on, if somebody lay a hand on them, then it's our fault. But if they go out there, then that's their own fault. But if you tell anyone our business here, the oath you made us to swear is counsel. You tell what we got going on, it's over with. It's canceled. We're no longer responsible. She said, if that's what you say, that's the way it is. And she sent them out. They headed to the hills and stayed there for 3 days and then, laid low and had looked high and low, but they ain't find that. So they headed back to Joshua to go back and report to him. Yes, God has given the whole country to us. Everybody there is in a state of panic because of us. Okay, so God, they checked out the scene or whatever. Everybody scared. Everybody scared over there in that country. So they was like, God gave them the country. Let's see what y'all gonna do with it now. So crossing the Jordan. So we in chapter 3. Early in the morning, Joshua and all the Israelites set out for Shittim and went to the Jordan where they camped before crossing over. After 3 days, the officers went throughout the camp, giving orders to the people. When you see the ark of the covenant of the Lord your God and the Levitical priests carrying it, you are to move out from your positions and follow it. Then you will know which way to go, since you have never been this way before. But keep a distance of about 2,000 cubits between you and the ark. Do not go near it. Joshua told the people, consecrate yourselves for tomorrow. The Lord will do amazing things among you. Joshua said to the priests, take up the ark of the covenant and pass it on the head of the people. So they took it up and went ahead of them. And the Lord said to Joshua, today I will begin to exalt you in the eyes of all Israel, so they may know that I am with you as I am with Moses. Tell the priests who carried the ark of the covenant, when you reach the edge of the Jordan's waters, go and stand in the river. So he's telling Joshua, go stand in the river. Um, Tell the priests who carried the ark of the covenant, when you reach the edge of the Jordan's water, go and stand in the river. All right. Joshua said to the Israelites, come here and listen to the words of the Lord your God. This is how you will know that the living God is among you, and that he will certainly drive out before you the Canaanites, Hittites, Hivites, Perizzites, Geragites, Amorites, God, please forgive me for messing up these people's names, Jebusites. See, the ark of the covenant of the Lord of all the earth will go into the Jordan ahead of you. Now then, choose 12 men from the tribe of Israel, one from each tribe, and as soon as the priests who carry out the ark of the Lord of all the earth, set foot in the Jordan, its waters flowing downstream will be cut off and stand up in a heap. So when the people broke the camp to cross the Jordan, the priests carrying the ark of the covenant went ahead of them. Now the Jordan is at a flood stage all during harvest. Yet as soon as the priests who carried the ark reached the Jordan and their feet touched the water's edge, the water from the upstream stopped flowing. It piled up in a heap great distance away at a town called Adam, in the vicinity of Zerathim, while the water flowing down to the sea of Arabah, that is the unalive sea, was completely cut off. So the people crossed over opposite Jericho. The priests who carried the ark of the covenant of the Lord stopped in the middle of the Jordan and stood on dry ground, while all Israel passed by until the whole nation had completed the crossing of dry ground. When the whole nation had finished crossing the Jordan, the Lord said to Joshua, choose 12 men from among the people, one from each tribe, and tell them to take up 12 stones from the middle of the Jordan, from right where the priests are standing, and carry them over with you and put them at the place where you stay tonight. So Joshua called together the 12 men he appointed from the Israelites, one from each tribe, and said to them, go over before the ark of the Lord your God into the middle of the Jordan. Each of you is to take a stone of his shoulder, according to the number of the tribes of the Israelites, to serve as a sign among you. In the future, when your children ask you, what do these stones mean? Tell them that the flow of the Jordan was cut off before the ark of the covenant of the Lord. When it crossed the, when it crossed the Jordan, the waters of the Jordan were cut off. These stones are to be memorial to the people of Israel forever. So the Israelites did as Joshua commanded them. They took 12 stones from the middle of the Jordan, according to the number of the tribes of the Israelites, as the Lord had told Joshua, and they carried them over with them to their camp, where they put them down. Joshua set up the 12 stones that had been in the middle of the Jordan at the spot where the priests who carried the ark of the covenant had stood, and they are there to this day. Oh wow! Now the priests who carried the ark remained standing in the middle of the Jordan until everything the Lord had commanded Joshua was done by the people, just as Moses had directed Joshua. The people hurried over there as all of them had crossed the ark of the Lord, and the priests came to the other side while the people watched. The men of Reuben, Gad, and the half tribe of Manasseh crossed over, ready for the battle in front of the Israelites, as Moses had directed them. About 40,000 armed for battle crossed over by the Lord to the plains of Jericho for war. So they about to go into war. That day the Lord exalted Joshua in the sight of all Israel, and they stood all of him all the days of his life, just as they had stood in awe of Moses. Then the Lord said to Joshua, command the priests carrying the ark of the covenant law to come up out of the Jordan. So Joshua commanded the priests to come up, the priests to come up out of Jordan. Okay. Now, when all the Amor, okay, okay, so now when all the Amorite kings west of the Jordan and all the Canaanite kings along the coast heard that the Lord had dried up all the Jordan before the Israelites until they had crossed over, their hearts melted in fear, and they no longer had the courage to face the Israelites. So they scared now. They is scared, baby. Happy Sunday, Meredith. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for saying hi. Appreciate you for stopping by. Thank you for thumbs it up the live too. Appreciate y'all. I'm gonna get off here about 4:30. Okay. So at the time the Lord said to Joshua, make flint knives and circumcise the Israelites again. So Joshua made flint knives and circumcised the Israelites at Gibeath Haaraloth. Now this is why he did. So all those who came out of Egypt, all the men of the military age, unalive the wilderness of the way after leaving Egypt. All the people that came out of had been circumcised, but all the people born in the wilderness during the journey from Egypt had not. The Israelites had moved about in the wilderness 40 years until all the men who were of military age when they left Egypt had unalive, since they had not obeyed the Lord. For the Lord had sworn to them that they would not see the land he had solemnly promised their ancestors to give us, a land flowing with milk and honey. So he raised up their sons in their place, and these were the ones Joshua circumcised. They were still uncircumcised because they had not been circumcised on the way. And after the whole nation had been circumcised, they remained where they were encamped until they were healed. Then the Lord said to Joshua, today I have rolled away the reproach of Egypt from you. So, so the place has been called Gilgal to this day. On the evening of the 14th day of the month, while camping in Gilgal on the plains of Jericho, the Israelites celebrated the Passover. The day after the Passover, the very day they ate some of the produce of the land, unleavened bread. The day after they ate this food from the land, there was no longer any manna for the Israelites, but that year they ate the produce of Canaan. Now, when Joshua was near Jericho, he looked up and saw a man standing in front of him with a drawn sword in his hand. Joshua went up to him and asked, "Are you for us or for our enemies?" "Neither," he replied, "but as commander of the army of the Lord, I have now come." Then Joshua fell face down to the ground in reverence and asked, "What message does my Lord have for the servant?" The commander of the Lord's army replied, "Take off your sandals, for the place where you are standing is holy." And Joshua did so. Now the gates of Jericho were securely barred because of the Israelites. No one went out and no one came in. Then the Lord said to Joshua, See, I have delivered Jericho into your hands, along with its kings and its fighting men. March around the city once with all the armed men. Do this for 6 days. Have 7 priests carry trumpets of rams, horns in the front of the ark. On the seventh day, march around the city 7 times with the priests blowing the trumpets. When you hear them sound a long blast of trumpets, have the whole army give a loud shout. Then the wall of the city will collapse and the army will go up, everyone straight in. So Joshua, son of Nun, called the priests and said to them, take up the ark of the covenant of the Lord and have 7 priests carry trumpets in front of it and around the city with an armed guard going ahead of the ark of the Lord. When Joshua had spoken to the people, the 7 priests carrying the 7 trumpets before the Lord went forward, blowing their trumpets, and the ark of the Lord's covenant followed them. The armed guard marched ahead of the priests who blew the trumpets, and the rear guard followed the ark. All this time the trumpets were sounding, but Joshua had commanded the army, do not give a war cry, do not raise your voices, do not say a word until the day I tell you to shout. Then shout. So he had the ark of the Lord carried around the city, circling it once. Then the army returned to camp and spent the night there. Joshua got up early the next morning, and the priests took up the ark of the Lord. The 7 priests carrying the 7 trumpets went forward, marching before the ark of the Lord and blowing the trumpets. The armed men went ahead of them, and the rear guard followed the ark of the Lord while the trumpets kept sounding. So on the second day, they marched around the city once and returned to the camp. They did this for 6 days. On the seventh day, they got up on daybreak and marched around the city 7 times in the same manner. Except on this day, they circled the city 7 times. The seventh time around, when the priest sounded the trumpet blast, Joshua commanded the army, shout, for the Lord has given you the city. The city and all that it is are to be devoted to the Lord. Only Rahab the prostitute and all who were with her in her house shall be spared, because she hid the spies we sent. But keep away from the devoted things, so that you will not bring about your own destruction by taking any of them. Otherwise, you will make the camp of Israel liable to destruction and bring trouble on it. All the silver and gold and the articles of bronze and iron are sacred to the Lord and must go into his treasury. When the trumpet sounded, the army shouted, and at the end of the sound of the trumpet, when the men gave a loud shout, the wall collapsed. So everyone charged straight in, and they took the city. They devoted the city to the Lord and destroyed with the sword every living thing in it, men and women, young and old, cattle, sheep, and donkeys. Joshua said to the 2 men who had spied out the land, go into the prostitute's house and bring her out and all who belong to her, in accordance with her oath to her. So the young men who had donned the spying went in there and brought out Rahab, her father and mother, her brothers and sisters, and all who belonged to her. They brought out her entire family and put them in a place outside the camp of Israel. Then they burned the whole city and everything in it. Oh wow, I didn't know that. But they put the silver and gold and the articles of bronze and iron into the treasury of the Lord's house. But Joshua spared the Rahab the prostitute with her family and all who belonged to her, because she hid the men Joshua had sent as spies to Jericho, and she lives among the Israelites to this day. At the time Joshua pronounced this solemn oath, cursed before the Lord is the one who undertakes to rebuild this city, Jericho. At the cost of his firstborn son, he will lay its foundation. At the cost of his youngest, he will set up his gates. So the Lord was with Joshua, and his fame spread throughout the land. Wow. Wow, this is getting good. You listen to God here. He would never leave her for